Jay?
No.
Oh my God, Dad?
My name is Barry Allen. Hello, John.
Do I know you?
You're not wearing your ring. Things must be different here.
Barry, where's there?
My Earth. Earth 90. I've traveled from there to warn you.
Warn us about what?
His name is Mar Novu, but he calls himself the Monitor now. He's been unleashing the Book of Destiny across the multiverse to test different Earths.
Test them for what?
A crisis that he believes is coming. Novu thinks the Elseworlds, created by the Book of Destiny, approximates the collision of realities that we're facing.
Guys, we got a situation.
Cisco.
That's him from the vibe.
Mar Novu! You're gonna stand down. You're gonna use that book to help us set reality right.
Well, I certainly wouldn't have placed it in Deegan's hands if that were my intent.
Enough! You will not do to this Earth what you did to mine.
I admire your persistence, Barry.
He says you were testing us.
And thus far, I am unimpressed. A crisis is imminent. Someone is coming. Someone far, far more powerful than myself. I mean to prepare.
By giving a nut bar an all-powerful reality rewriting book?
I am testing universes to find one. I hope strong enough to stand against him.
You're causing chaos, and you're blaming everyone else.
In the hope of finding the champions that would save the multiverse entire. You are the first of those I've placed under fire who have managed to retrieve the Book of Destiny.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the Flash crossover. So we've got the 3-night crossover. We've already had the first 2 episodes. I'm going to briefly go over the first episode and then in more depth the second episode. So let's get into it. So this is such a cool crossover. Thank you, CW. Thank you, Warner Bros. For finally letting them have a solid crossover based on the first 2 episodes. Absolutely fantastic. Seeing Stephen Amell play the Flash and seeing Grant Gustin play the Arrow. It's so awesome seeing these guys interact together so much. Like I've always said, the best crossovers have been when it was just Barry Allen and the Flash, or Supergirl and the Flash. These crossovers are so much better when they focus more on the main characters and not on the side characters. In this episode, we hardly ever seen Caitlin, Vibe, and Sherlock Wells in the first episode. To be honest, there was side characters, which I think is awesome, but there's a bit of negativity online that there's not enough of Iris West and there's not enough of the side characters. But guys, these crossovers are based around the main characters, so I think it was absolutely fantastic. So the villain for this episode was essentially a Mazo, who in this Elseworlds storyline, and it perceives to be, in my opinion, that it's a standalone storyline that's got absolutely nothing to do or won't have any consequences for the greater good, but I think where it's going, it's going to have a kind of consequence. So let's get into it. So essentially, Monitor has given John Deegan a book that is like the Reality Stone, I guess you could say, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where basically he can rewrite whatever he wants to do inside of this reality, hence why they've body swapped, which is absolutely fantastic. But Team Flash doesn't take it well and chucks the fake Flash, I guess you could say, in jail in their metahuman prison until they can figure out what's going on. But to be fair, Iris does pick on it pretty well, but that's probably because she's seen lots of different variations of Barry. She's seen Savitar, Barry Tard, and all that kind of stuff, so it's so cool to see. So we finally get to meet Kal-El, Superman, properly, and there's a massive Smallville reference because they go to the Smallville farm. I didn't really watch Smallville, didn't really care for it, but that's pretty cool that they put the Easter egg in there for the fans of that. So we've seen Lois Lane in the scene, obviously Kara Danvers, Supergirl, Kal-El, Superman, Kent, so it's pretty cool Superman homage moment if you like that stuff. So they go to Superman and Supergirl to see what is going on, and straight away they can see that their bodies swapped. So it's pretty awesome, pretty cool first story mode. But what actually didn't make sense in this was the fact that Amazo took the Arrow's power when Arrow isn't even a metahuman, and it does. I don't know if this necessarily confirms that Caitlin Snow is a meta, but when Amazo was scanning Killer Frost, it said metahuman. So I know she didn't get her powers from the dark matter, but it has confirmed that she is a metahuman, which is very, very interesting, because on the normal Flash TV show, Cicada can't do anything to Caitlin because we received her not to be a meta and it didn't affect her. So I don't know if this is going to have any consequences for the rest of the Flash TV show. I don't think it will, but it was a pretty awesome crossover, hilarious in parts, funny throughout. We find out that the Monitor, well, we don't actually find out much about the Monitor until the second episode. So like I said, that's a brief recap of what happened. They took Amazo out right at the end of the episode. So funny hearing Grant Gustin say, "You have failed this city." So funny. So that's the first episode over with. Pretty cool. The second episode is the main chunk of it, and this is where we will be introduced to Ruby Rose, who is playing Batwoman. So the second episode primarily will mainly be in Gotham City, which is going to be pretty cool because they filmed in Chicago. Generally speaking, I think actually everything is filmed in Vancouver when it comes for all the CW shows, DC TV wise. So it's going to be pretty cool to see some new scenery in the Chicago episode when they go to Gotham City. Going to be pretty cool to see how, if Batwoman TV show does get past the pilot, which I presume it will, is what Batman characters can they actually use. But when they actually film the pilot for Batwoman, it'll be April, so the Gotham TV show would be finished with, would be done with by then, I presume. So would that give them the rights to use a lot of Batman villains in the Batwoman TV show? So let's get into the second episode. That was absolutely fire, and we found out a lot of the storytelling in the sense of where is this going, what is it building up to. Very fantastic. So let's get into episode 2. So I'm glad I can say this. Episode 2, Arrow's version of the crossover, was even better than the first part. So much fire. So they started the episode very different. They had, "My name is Green Arrow," but it was obviously Grant Gustin saying it. Was so cool seeing them film a little monologue of him being in jail, him getting back with Felicity after getting out of jail, and him saying, "I am the Green Arrow." So funny. So Dr. Destiny, John Deegan, has rewritten reality. We find out this week's episode, but we don't find out if Jericho, Slade Wilson's son, is Deathstroke in this reality in Elseworlds, if it's actually due to reality being rewritten, or if it's just what's going on. So that's pretty cool to see Jericho being Deathstroke. That was pretty awesome. So the main narrative of the whole episode was them heading to Gotham to look for Dr. Destiny, John Deegan. So this is a Gotham that looks like it's set in the same universe as the Dark Knight movie, we presume, and we presume to be led down the street thinking that Christian Bale's version of the Dark Knight is still Batman in this universe, but he's disappeared, he's gone, he's been gone for 3 years. Bruce Wayne and Batman both disappeared at the same time. But it's pretty funny because obviously Supergirl believes in Batman, believes there is a Batman, because obviously her cousin Superman knows him, and obviously the Flash, being obviously Stephen Amell, doesn't believe in him, and obviously Arrow in this case is Grant Gustin, believes in Batman. So anyone that doesn't believe in Batman is actually Stephen Amell's version of the character in this crossover. Damn, this is getting confusing. So they head to Gotham, get in some trouble, get arrested, get bailed out by Batwoman, and are taken to the Wayne Tower, which is being refurbed for real estate, which is pretty interesting. So not really a lot happens in the episode. They go to Arkham Asylum to try and find him. There's some cool little Easter eggs to Enigma and stuff on the actual inmates' doors. You have Guggenheim on there. That's a reference to obviously the old producer of Arrow, but I think he actually did produce or write some of this. So they end up getting into a kind of inmate fight with the people at Arkham Asylum, because they do find Mr. Deegan, but he hits the panic button and it opens all the rooms in the Arkham Asylum. So you have all the inmates running around and they kick all their asses, and eventually outside, the Green Arrow and Vibe gets taken down. So Batwoman has to make a grand entrance and save the day, which is pretty awesome. They do get the Book of Destiny briefly, so it's pretty cool. Batwoman, I presume, will be received pretty well. But what's interesting is obviously the Flash and Green Arrow were induced into some hallucination energy, I guess you could say, because the Flash thinks he's fighting Reverse Flash and Arrow thinks he's fighting Malcolm Merlin, but really they're fighting each other, which is pretty awesome. So when they get back to HQ, the Flash from Earth 90, the original 90s Flash, played by John Wesley Shipp, confirms what most people already thought. Someone is rewriting reality, but the Monitor's behind it. But I wouldn't really say the Monitor's a bad character. The Monitor is a bad guy. He is setting everything up for Anti-Monitor to come. He's testing Earth to see if they are strong enough to take him out or withstand whatever he is trying to do. So the Monitor is here really for good reasons, to test everyone. But there's a Justice League Easter egg, I guess you can say, when we first see the Flash trying to come through. He's like, you need the book, you need to get the book, which is kind of similar to the Justice League when Ezra Miller's version said, you were right, you were right, Superman is bad, it's always been Superman. So kind of a cheeky little Easter egg. So basically they're teeing up Anti-Monitor, that's why the red skies are red. And we get towards the end of the episode, right at the end, he rewrites reality again, and we get what looks like the Black Superman, the evil version of Superman. But the most interesting thing in this is the fact that on the Flash's Earth, the 90s Earth, John Diggle is actually Green Lantern. Just like I said a year ago, he's like, you haven't got your ring here. He's like, where's your ring? Oh, this Earth must be different. So that is the biggest Easter egg we've had towards potentially them doing a Green Lantern with John Diggle, which would be absolutely insane. Yes, this is an Easter egg. I know Warner Brothers DC are very strict with DC TV letting them do things, but so far it was a pretty cool crossover. There was lots of Easter eggs, like there was a Bane mask out on display, lots of cool little Easter eggs, but I'm not going to go over every single Easter egg because there's just too many. But there were a lot of interesting Easter eggs, and so far for me, this has been the best crossover ever, and I really hope one day we do see Anti-Monitor and Darkseid in these Crisis events, because it's so cool when we do crossovers. But it's interesting because it's being based around the main characters like Flash, Supergirl, Superman, all the biggest characters we've got, and not being focused around the side characters like Felicity and Iris West. But obviously, because tonight's episode was actually Arrow based, we did get some Felicity and obviously the Green Arrow making up, saying, "You'll always be my true love." But let's be honest, Laurel Lance Black Canary is his real true love. Come on, we know it. We know the writers won't let him say that, but that is really Green Arrow's true love, is Laurel Lance the Black Canary, not Felicity. Sorry, but I actually am starting to like Olicity. Don't hate me. No, I'm joking. I don't really like Olicity, but it's more watchable. It's more watchable, which is pretty cool. So we've got Supergirl's episode tonight, and I really hope we get a cheeky wink at Anti-Monitor, which is most likely the villain they're teeing up to. Maybe if we can't get it at the end of this episode, next episode, maybe we can get a cheeky wink. I'm really hoping they are building up to Anti-Monitor or someone like Darkseid in the future, but that would be absolutely crazy if they could do someone like Anti-Monitor or Darkseid on a DC TV show crossover. To be honest, this crossover has been absolutely epic. Hasn't taken itself too seriously. They've not tried to make it too funny. Been the right balance for me. And for someone who's heavily criticized last year's crossover, Earth X crossover, which I thought was really bad, the Dominators crossover, which I hated. So for me, it's been the best crossover since the Flash and Arrow. Been absolutely awesome. So thank you, CW and DC TV, for finally giving the fans a good crossover that's based on a centric storyline, which isn't based around 100,000 different characters. Anyway, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. I will be doing more DC TV content. Don't worry, guys, I will be covering this. So if you could support the video, like it down below. I know I've not been doing much DC, Flash, Arrow stuff, but I am going to be doing a lot more Flash content soon. So please like down below, comment, subscribe, share, so the videos get more love. Anyway, guys, I will catch you in that next video very soon. Catch ya later.